morning, Martin.
Good morning, Sherman.
How are you?
Good to meet you here. I'm good, thank you.
Yeah, great to do another call with you. I mean, we haven't had a chance to meet in person yet, but I guess the advantages of Zoom. I'm here with Martin Pawlitschek. Martin is the CEO of Sanu Gold. Is a very exciting story based in West Africa. I'm in the beautiful Okanagan. Martin, maybe just tell our listeners where are you sitting?
Right now, I'm actually sitting in beautiful Conakry. We're in the middle of the wet season. Everything is green out there. And last week, I was in the Sigiri region on two of our permits, Daina and Digifara, just checking the drill sites that we're investigating, and also assessing the access. I was a little bit worried about the wet season, but all good. Even with the rain, we'll be able to work there right through the wet season if we have to. No major logistical issues with that.
That's great. So I'm really excited to spend a few minutes with you this morning to talk about a couple things. Sanu Gold has certainly got our attention. We think it's a very exciting story. Martin has got extensive experience, not only as currently the CEO of Sanu Gold. He's been involved with junior companies. He's been involved with majors such as BHP. Martin's also worked with private equity firms and also with development stage companies. And this is of great interest to me, not only because of the quality of the asset that Martin's going to sort of talk about today, but also just the breadth of your experience, Martin. And I guess, a couple of things I'd like to talk about. One is, there was an excellent BNN interview yesterday done with Ian Telfer. And Ian was talking about, their interest in Colombia. We also have interest in Colombia, and it reminded me a little bit about, the importance of looking at other jurisdictions that have obviously extensive mineralization and have, significant opportunities for a number of different reasons. In some cases, overlooked mineralizations. In other cases, low-cost operations that can exist in other areas of the world. And I guess that brings me to Sanu Gold and your interest in West Africa. And, maybe just get your comments just overall in terms of, the gold sector, and maybe a little bit of your experience as to what's got you to this level of experience of over 20 years in this business, and, how that led you to West Africa and what you see as the opportunities. And I guess second point would be, why Sanu Gold? And I think it's a remarkable story. You got a relatively low market cap. You got 3 drill ready targets in Guinea, West Africa, which clearly is highly mineralized. So, I'll give you the floor for the next 5-10 minutes and tell us a little bit about yourself and what brought you to Sanu and sort of the important aspects of West Africa. And I guess covered with that idea again with Ian on his call yesterday, really highlighted the enormous opportunities in Colombia, which I see as a parallel to the enormous opportunities in West Africa. But with that, I'll give you the floor, Martin.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for that overview, Sherman. Why do I like gold in West Africa? It's not my first time in gold in West Africa. I was involved in the Sabodala story early on in 2007, which was quite successful, and then is now part of Endeavour and still has a very long, even longer mine life than when we started it. So it's obviously geologically a hugely fertile ground, not just in Guinea, but the whole region. What's attractive about Guinea, it's been a little bit overlooked or underexplored in recent decades because of various reasons, but the doors have been opening up here over the last 2 or 3 years. It's become even more interesting with the recent discovery at the Bankan, which is that 3.6 million ounce maiden resource that Predictive came out with, ASX listed. And then obviously there have been a number of major mines in operation here for 20 years now and more, multi-million ounce assets like Anglo's Sigiri mine, Nordgold mine, both of them way over 5 million ounces, and Managem, the Moroccan state mining company, developing Avoset's old asset, Trike. And there's a number of other Australian and Canadian juniors interested in this space. I started looking at Guinea first time in 2018. I've been hunting around for assets there for a while in West Africa in general. And generally, the ground's quite competitively held across West Africa, and it's usually difficult to find a good match of a permit that's technically interesting and good, and vendors that will have a reasonable commercial expectations. So here with these 3 permits, we found all of them coming together. We managed to negotiate this deal and get it seed funded and enlisted. Tremendous geological potential, big structures, untested. We can get into those a little bit later if it's of interest. And you rarely see this in a career, even of 20 years. You have to work hard and long to come up with something like that. So here we had it 3 times over. So for me, exploration has always been, the biggest value generator in the mining cycle. I mean, we all know the typical curve of where do you get the biggest bang for buck when you have success, and that's clearly at the discovery stage. So here, a lot of the early, very greenfields work has been done, and we're fairly de-risked in terms of generating targets. And we can look forward to some exciting drilling over the next 6 to 9 months. And I fully expect that we'll hit decent gold intercepts, and from there get onto a discovery. So that's why I like it. That's why I like the space. I like West Africa because it's very, very workable. Once you have an exploration permit, you don't suffer a lot of red tape like you suffer in many other jurisdictions. You can get on the ground. You have to respect, obviously, some basic, largely common sense things about managing the environmental impact correctly and dealing, honorably with the local communities and administration. But other than that, you're not waiting for 3 to 9 months for drill permits, for example, like we see in many other places. So everything's coming together nicely there. The country seems to be on the right track. We did have that change of government, but it looks to be, for the business sector at least, for the better. They're respecting all the mining contracts, and they're encouraging investors. In fact, they're going to great length to sorting out who's a good player in the sector and who isn't. We've had people on our ground from the government, just making sure we're working and we're working well, and we've been received with a lot of praise and appreciation. There are many other operators, usually small private individuals holding ground that are sitting on the ground and not working it. But people that are investing and working are quite welcome, and they're respecting and actually quite respecting of our rights, and are quite helpful with making sure we're working. We can work well with the local communities, local administration. So no complaints there from my side. What else? I think I've covered it. I mean, I like the upside of exploration, and I always liken it to, okay, there is some downside risk, but it's fairly limited. You'll know after 1 or 2 drilling programs, and when you hit it, your upside is pretty well unlimited. It's not capped. I guess I should say it's not capped versus many other parts of the industry. You're competing with big capital for more advanced, supposedly de-risked projects, but your returns are also much more capped generally. So that's why I love the exploration space. That's why I went back to it. So here I have all the key ingredients I need. So
well, it's
worth making the jump.
Those are important points, because I look at, for example, our involvement with Orezone Gold, which now has a multi-$100 million market cap, and it's clearly in the mine building stage, which is really what finding ore bodies is all about. Is you want to find management teams, you want to find jurisdictions where you can actually find an economic ore body and then develop it into a mine or get bought out in the process. And one that I know that we talked about in a previous call was a similar story, was called predictive. I think it's predictive resources or predictive exploration, where it had gone from a $3 or $4 million market cap to it sits today with a $300 million market cap, also in West Africa. And I guess for our listeners, one of the things that we're trying to do is build awareness around, where do you find these stories? And I think, that was the whole point of today, was to highlight, the expertise of yourself as a chief executive officer and someone experienced in the business. But, the Sanu Gold just recently IPO'd, again, a relatively low market cap, $15-16 million, with these three projects that have the real potential to be a multi-hundred million dollar story. And so I think it's pretty exciting. So maybe on a personal level, like just maybe give our listeners your background and why did you decide to go to junior exploration, other than for the fun and the potential upside?
My background is mainly in exploration. I go back to studying in Australia in the early 90s and then working in the gold space there for a while in Western Australia, initially on a underground mine, but then quickly moved into exploration. Then I spent over a decade with BHP Minerals at the time, later BHP Billiton. Initially gold, then a fair bit of base metals work across Australia, some work in Southeast Asia. Eventually, I went over to Southern Africa. I was based there for many years, mostly in the diamond space, but also some base metals work. And then in 2005, I started looking at the junior space. Looked like I liked the dynamic nature of the junior explorers. They could, while the majors certainly have expertise and financial backing, they cannot move anywhere near as fast as the juniors. So I saw them as having all the fun, so to speak, and also being able to test ideas and execute exploration programs quite effectively and quickly. So I went on to the junior space there in 2005, working initially in the Congo for a few years, and then eventually ended up over in Dakar, Senegal. I was based there with the family for many years. We had a prospect called Sabodala. It had 60 drill holes into it, no known resources, no official resources. We drilled that out and put it through a feasibility study and into production in something like 3.5 or 4 years. We poured the first gold in, I think it was early 2010. It then went on to Teranga, and I was looking for after the exploration ground for some time. Found some more satellite resources, some of them quite high grade, and eventually was offered an opportunity in the private equity space, based out of London. So I took that. That was highly interesting and very great broadening of experience, looking at exploration and geology and mining assets, much more advanced ones, but always we kept in mind the upside potential of any asset. So that was an important ingredient. So I got a good look at what it takes to make something economic from a geological point of view. We had projects all over the world, big focus on Latin America, Canada, also in Africa. One of our first investments was a gold asset in Burkina, high grade underground. So that got into production. That did quite well. And then recent years, I came across this opportunity, and just it was too good to leave alone. So
well, we're happy to be getting involved in the ground floor, and I think really that's what investors are looking for. And it's interesting. Again, I was watching Ian Telfer yesterday on I guess it was Bloomberg interview, and they have 700 million in cash, and I'm not sure exactly how old Ian is, but you can just tell that he just loves loves the business, and of course the upside is so significant for shareholders. That's why we try and highlight stories like Sanu Gold, because really, if you can get in on the ground floor with the right team and you can have exploration success, I mean, the results, of course, can be absolutely stunning. So I'm really excited to be a new shareholder of Sanu Gold, and look forward to working with you over the coming months. And I know you're not in the middle of doing a financing yet, but I think it's one that the retail investors can really, you can go in and you can buy this in your RSP or your tax-free savings account, and really have some good long-term upside. I guess to close, Martin, we continue to see so many reasons to own gold stocks right now. And yeah, you can go out and buy the majors or even the ones that have in mine development, but of course your upside will then be limited a little bit more, linked to the price of gold. And I remind investors, and I think that's why Martin's doing what he's doing, is that when you look at a junior company that's in the exploration with the kind of remarkable targets that you have, the upside can be significant. But maybe just in closing, just give us why you think gold is going higher.
Well, gold will go higher for many reasons. I mean, it looks like we have a wave of inflation coming, a lot more, a lot more of the same fiscal policies that are putting more dollars and low interest rates out on the financial market. I'm by no means an expert on this, but I think that'll give some fundamental high value to gold. And quite frankly, we're running low on resources. Exploration's been light. The majors need replacement ounces as well. So I think they'll be interested to acquiring new discoveries. And I think a good discovery of mid-size, even the junior in the right market, can develop quite well. As we've done with Sabodala at the time. It was a junior mining company with no asset other than that gold deposit. And I like gold because I think it'll be steady right through for them, and probably increasing quite a lot also.
There's a lot of cash on the sidelines that I think that we're going to see deployed in the fall. And so what are they going to be looking for? They're going to be looking for great junior stories. And I think your timing, Martin, is fantastic for, going public with Sanu Gold. And so it's a pretty exciting time.
Yeah, I agree. Our timing has been very good, somewhat fortuitously. Also, we're just following on the back of the predictive discovery project, their main resource. So that to some extent paved the way, put Guinea on the map. And then, as you said, money will flow back into the sector, I think, big time too.
I think so too. Well, thanks for your time, Martin. And it's been great. I've been here with Martin Pawlitschek. He's the Chief Executive Officer of Sanu Gold, which you can easily find on the Toronto Stock Exchange. And Martin, I guess we'll be reconnecting in a couple hours for a few more calls.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just to remind you, we're on the CSE. So
CSE, sorry.
Yeah. So thanks a lot for your time, Sherman. It's been a pleasure to talk to you.
Yeah, great talking to you again. Thanks.